Tomorrow's the first of the month, so wake up, wake up, wake up.
Welcome to the Black Delegates Podcast. Today's date is July the 31st, 2018. We're on episode 25. Episode 25, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an anniversary or something, right?
Quarter.
25 weeks in the game. Feel like it's been 50 years.
Almost half a year. Almost half a year.
Yeah. So we got the usuals. Phenom, Paul, what's up with y'all?
What's good?
Feel like it's been a long time. It's only been like 10 days, but it seemed like it's been forever.
I've been MIA, man, so I'm happy to be back. I enjoyed last week's episode without me, just like everybody else in the pod that listens to the pod. It's always better without Paul, but I'm here to destroy the podcast again. So let's do it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to have you back, Paul, because when I'm forced to have to be the funny man, I'm not really keen on it. I don't like it.
I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting a lot more N-words last week, but I did not hear as many N-words last week. So I'm glad you guys toned it down a little bit without me here. So I'm happy for that. I
take offense to that, sir.
You should take offense to everything I say.
Some type of hooligan?
Yes, I do.
All right, so let's see. This week in Blackness. So it's been 10 days. Let's start with Phenom. How was your week?
My week in Blackness. It's pretty solid. I would say it is a good Ving Rhames black, which we will come back to Ving Rhames a little bit later, of course.
Cross-dresser Ving Rhames or baby boy Ving Rhames? That's what I need to know.
Oh, it's always baby boy, son.
Right. And we're talking about the blackness, so I'm not too worried about his cross-dressing. Talking about baby boy Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames cooking dinner for your mama in the kitchen, Ving Rhames. So, first off, I'm actually going to go back a week to something I forgot to mention during my last week in Blackness that was actually pretty dope. And what it was I got invited by St. Louis University to come out. They actually had a speed networking event for a lot of mostly black and actually some brown kids, a lot of minority children. And so I got to go to St. Louis University with a bunch of other professionals. And what they did was they sent the kids around in groups of 4 or 5 to each table for, 5 to 10 minutes, maybe about 7 or 8 minutes. And the kids got to just ask us questions about our careers. So that was something that I really enjoyed doing. Like, it was mostly middle school and high school students. So just being there, talking to them. I work in IT. I also work in media. So there were some kids that wanted to work on computers. There were some kids that wanted to be writers, authors, or journalists or whatever. So got to talk to each of them about what they wanted to do. And if they weren't asking me questions, then I started to ask them questions. So it's pretty dope event.
What was the funniest question you got? Any funny questions?
I don't even remember the funniest question. I do remember there was definitely a funniest kid. There was this one little girl that was there, and she was just off the chain. Matter of fact, one of my other partners was there too. And afterwards, we were kind of talking, and he's like, "Yo, you know who the wildest kid was, right?" And I'm like, "That little girl." He was like, "Yeah," So she was just all over the place. I guess when I think of ADHD, I feel like she probably is the poster girl of that because she literally did not stop moving, did not stop talking. And at one point I was messing with her because she had this little pin, like a little lapel pin that they put on the desk actually for the professionals that came. So she's playing with it and she's putting it on my hand, like face down, and taking the little back part off of it and putting it back on it. And, she's kept doing that. So I messed with her. I'm like, hey, if you stab me with that pen, we're going to have a problem. Like, we're going to be fighting. And she was like, oh, that's fine. We can fight. I'm going to go get my mama. I'm going to get my daddy. I'm going to get my cousin. I'm going to get my sister. And we be fighting all the time. And they're going to beat you down and blah, blah. And she just going a mile a minute. And I'm like, wow. Like, I don't even know what to say. But, I mean, she was cool. It was all in good fun. But just really enjoyed that event. So, secondly, I think you guys know what's coming. So, last week during the show.
No, we don't know what's coming. We don't
We just heard about what's coming.
Last week during the show that Paul was not on, Paul ended up hitting me with the text, and let me see, in the group chat he said, we need video proof of Ish still being able to dunk, and said, believe it when I see it. Now the interesting part about that is that I expect no less from Paul. Number one, Paul is a verified hater.
That's right. This is facts.
Right. This is facts. This is nothing new. Number two, Paul has never really seen me in an athletic event. He's never hooped with me. He's never done anything.
I went to college with Ryan for all of 16 months. I heard about 4 billion Ishmael stories, dunking stories in those 16 months. So believe me, I've heard the legend of Ish.
Let's stop it. Let's not make it out that I was Ish's biggest fan or something. I didn't talk about Ish that much.
If he could have had the Ish Lutheran North jersey, he would have rocked that.
Come on, that is false.
That's false. It's actually pretty hilarious.
Continue your story, sir.
Yeah. So I really was not too surprised at Paul, because again, he's never seen me engaged in an athletic event. But the Black Ryan, the fact that he came up behind Paul,
he
co-signed.
That's right.
On the proof that was needed, that really kind of took me aback. So I said, okay, these guys don't think I can dunk. And let me preface this by saying I wasn't even bragging about dunking. When I talked about dunking, I said, I can still dunk. I can't get up like I used to. I can't just jump on demand like that. So I wasn't like saying I'm coming down windmilling or going from the free throw line on people. But I said I could dunk. And nonetheless, the two pod mates doubted me. They were in disbelief. They demanded proof all through the week on Twitter, on Instagram, on group chat. They called me out. So what I'm doing now is actually posting.
He had to go do 2 days of yoga.
Right.
No.
He had to buy three large, extra large bottles of Bengay.
Did you all see the posts that have been made on the IG account? Up until now, my workout regimen consisted of going to play poker the night before, not getting home until about 2 a.m., drinking some brew, some light beer. I will say that I did that. I never, ever stretch when I go play basketball, so I didn't stretch. I didn't even do my 2 dunk attempts, which you will see very shortly, until after we hooped for 2 straight hours. So there was no workout regimen. There was no dieting. There was no anything except getting up and going and showing my old head athleticism. That's all that it was. So what I'm going to be sending to you very, very shortly is
the longest unveil of all time, right? Man, just show the video.
Well, the reason that the unveiling is actually going long is because I'm sitting here I just uploaded it to the page, and there was an issue where I was trying to put in a photo with the 2 videos, and the photo wouldn't take. So I actually literally just got it going right now. So I'm about to post it in the group chat. Ryan, if you need to edit out any of that because it was very long because I was trying to stall, go for it. But if you want to check the Black Delegates group me right now, you will see the videos.
I don't see nothing. All I see is Ving Rhames' butt. That's all I see.
No, look on the IG page. It's on.
It's on the Black Delegates, and I want y'all to watch it now because I want the people.
On IG like that. Okay, hold on. I'm going to it now.
It's in the group me.
Okay, I see it. I see it.
And so I wanted y'all to see live the two dunk attempts.
I see 3 knee sleeves and 1 arm sleeve.
Negative. No. Don't know what you're looking at. So one was filmed in slow motion video. The other was filmed fast.
Can you see the ground? Can you see the ground when he jumps?
Yeah.
Might be a trampoline down there.
Do you see the pain in his knee when he lands?
Yeah, I see that. It definitely buckled.
He like, oh, let me slow up.
Hey, that was relief.
Hey, anybody listen to this? We'll post this on the Black Delegates Twitter page, so you'll definitely be able to judge for yourself. This is an adequate dunk. How would you rate this, Ryan? What do you want to give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this dunk a 6.5.
And scroll over, go to the right because there are 2 videos.
There are 2 videos. Okay,
so make sure you slide over to the right.
This next one better be fire because I think you got about a 6 on the first one. Oh, 2 hands. Okay.
2 hands.
I give that one a 7.5.
The first video was a 1-handed dunk. The second video was a 2-handed dunk. Once again, I never said I was windmilling, I was 360ing. I said I could still dunk. Y'all doubt it, and the proof is in the pudding.
The proof is there. Real talk, though. How many warm-up attempts did you
There were no warm-up attempts. Those were the only 2 attempts I made that day.
Do you believe this, Ryan?
I guess. I mean,
and this is why I was actually so deeply hurt about the whole incident. Because in the time that we have known each other, known Ryan a little bit, a lot longer, but in the time that we've known each other, I don't feel like I've ever proven myself to be a liar. So the fact that you both doubted me, and now that you're doubting me again, even though I showed you the proof, now you're like, how many times did it take? Come on, man. I ain't got to lie,
You mistake my antagonization for doubting, and that's what the problem. See, it's not that I doubt you. I just want to antagonize you like I antagonize everyone else in the world, and so that's all this is.
Oh, I know.
And I didn't question your integrity. I questioned your calf muscles. I just didn't think that you could do it.
Yeah, I really thought you'd be laying, balled up like Derrick Rose after you tried this dunk. But no, man, it looks good. It's definitely, for an old man dunk, it's definitely good. How much longer do you think? How many more years do you think you can dunk?
That's a good question. I mean, my biggest goal has always been if I can get to 40, which is around the corner, then I feel like I'm good. I feel like I made it to 40. Now, once I make it to 40, because clearly, unless some major injury happens, knock on wood, I'm going to make it to 40 dunking because that's just later this year. So then once I get to 40, I might say, let's try to get to 45. But right now, I say if I get to 40 and I'm dunking, and like I said last week, if I can catch a body, if I catch 2 bodies, like in game, I'm good. I can retire. I don't even need to dunk again.
When's the last in-game dunk that you had? In-game?
That was a long time ago. That I couldn't even remember. That's probably 10, 12 years ago.
That was in Florida. I was hooping then, man.
Right. That was probably 10, 12 years ago. Well, at least on somebody. I've dunked in a game probably 5 years ago, just like in a pickup game, but like in a legit league or something like that. It's been a while, but then again, I haven't played in the league in a while.
Have you gotten a league or a rec league game or just a pickup game and caught like a outbound pass and thought about dunking and you were like, nah, I think I'm good. Have you ever?
Well, the thing for me is I always, when I get an open lane and I go and lay it up after the fact, I'm like, man, I should have dunked that. So that's why now I'm trying to get into that mindset. And like I said, it's probably been about 5 years since I actually dunked, even in a pickup game. But that was on a fast break. Nobody was in the lane. So we'll see, man. Like I said, I'm happy that I was able to get up, get my 2 attempts in. My knees good, my Achilles good, my feet good. So I'm good, man. The proof is in the pudding. So it is posted on the Black Delegates Instagram. We'll post it on the Facebook later. But check it out. So I've taken up enough time, more than enough time. So Paul, how was your week in brownness?
Oh yeah, my week in brown. My week in blackness was Uncle Ruckus Black. It was either Uncle Ruckus Black or the Black Cop from Boys in the Hood. It was one of those two. So man, I've been out for 2 weeks, but the kid's birthday was last week, so celebrated the birthday. man, he's in camp and all that type of stuff. But for what I want to talk about this week is, so we decided to go down to Atlanta for the kid's birthday. Like, we didn't really have any birthday party, no family or nothing like that in town. We didn't do anything like that. He just went to camp and opened some presents up here. But the weekend, we were like, well, my nieces are coming in town. She's like 16 years old, going on 32 or something like that. But she's 16 years old and she is grown. You can't tell her nothing. But she came in town to visit us. And we decided to go down to Atlanta, stay down a few days, and go to the aquarium. My kid really likes fish. So we were going to go to the aquarium, man. So we drove down to Atlanta on Friday. It's like about a 5-hour drive or whatever like that. Nothing big. Man, we get to the hotel, and we're staying at a hotel like right downtown, like right off Centennial Park, where the Olympics were at. So it's like right there, like literally right behind the aquarium. So, we can go there and all this stuff like that. Get to the hotel. As soon as we get to the hotel, like there's a bunch of like family reunions pulling up. And there's one dude with a big old like Dutch master behind his ear or something like that, just standing there in the valet area, just waiting for the car. I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So we check in the hotel, blah, blah, get to the room. So, my niece she's at the age where, she definitely don't want her in the room with us anymore. Before, when she was younger, we just roll like that, and we didn't have the little one ourselves. But now it's, at the age where, we get her a separate room. So we got her a separate room, and they gave us another room, just right adjacent to that. Well, whatever room we were in, whoever was in there must have smoked a lot of weed in that room, because that room smelled like nothing but weed. And my wife I can't stand smoke either at this point. And my wife definitely can't. So we had to sit there. It's like 9 o'clock at night. We got to switch out rooms. I'm like, man, I was like, come on now. So they switch us out rooms, and they give us another room like across the hallway. Man, so we get in this room, and so now it's like 10:30, 11. Man, so they put us on the other side of the hotel, and there is like a cigar bar outside, or some kind of nightclub just right across the street, across the parking lot. Man, they were bumping music till 4 a.m. So we're in there in the room. We got the YouTube set up on like rain sounds, trying to block it all out, but you can't do nothing about the bass. Now you just feel the bass, and I'm just like, I hate Atlanta. I hate Atlanta so bad. Like, why does my first room smell like weed smoke? And it wasn't a trashy hotel. It's a brand new, literally hotel just opened 2 months ago, and it's nice. I mean, not fancy, but it's a decent hotel. And so the
I feel like you and your wife wear those shades over your eyes when you sleep. Is that a fact?
It's not a fact. No, man, I can sleep. No, look.
Do either one of y'all wear those over your face?
No. I have a pair of those. I've tried them on a plane. I've tried those on a plane before. Never done them in the bed before, but I've tried them on a plane. But yeah, man. So I was so tired from driving, so I actually slept through it the first night. But my wife was like, she was pissed, and so because it was like till 4 a.m, and the kid couldn't sleep, and she wasn't sure if it was because of the stuff, whatever like that. So anyway, everybody was just really grumpy. Anyway, smash cut, we go to the aquarium. Oh man, it was so crowded out there, man. There was like 1 billion people trying to get into that aquarium. It was so hot and so many people. I mean, we literally couldn't see nothing. We went in there. We probably spent probably a good solid hour actually inside the aquarium. I spent so much money to go in here for 4 people. Everybody was grumpy. Everybody was getting on each other's nerves. And so it was just a horrible experience, man. It was just a horrible experience in Atlanta. I did not enjoy it. The kid got sick. And so he had maybe just had too much juice, something like that. So he had a little accident. So I had to clean him up and stuff like that. I had to make a Uber run to like Walgreens to get some clean supplies. Oh man, for whatever reason, there's no Walgreens like in downtown Atlanta. I had to go like a little bit out the way to go to a Walgreens to get some clean supplies. And I saw a lady like in there shoplifting. And the reason I know she was shoplifting is because the cashier told me she was shoplifting. And I was like, man, get me up out of here, man. Just get me up out of Atlanta. I'm tired of Atlanta.
You call the cops?
Yeah, I said, because he was saying, he's like, I'm so sick of people is what he was kind of mumbling to himself, but he was kind of, telling me to come up there. And I was like, oh, what's going on? Or whatever like that. He's like, oh, that girl up there trying to be fake, pretend like she want a job. I was like, oh, she don't want a job or something like that. He's like, oh, no, she just saying that because she knows I saw her stealing like $20 worth of like cosmetics. And I was like, you didn't stop her? He was like, that ain't my job. That's his job over there. And he was aiming at the security guard who was kind of standing over there, but I guess the security guard wouldn't do nothing. And so I was like, oh, a word. And so the dude was like, he's like, yeah, man, we ain't trying to turn into no Starbucks over here or something like that. I mean, it'd be my word against hers. And I was like, oh, but he's like, but I know her dad.
Was he white?
No, this is a black dude. It was a black dude, a black shoplifter, and the black security guard. It was. I mean, I wasn't in the.
So
I don't know where I was at. What part? I was on Peachtree. I think I was on Peachtree, but it was just far from like where Centennial Park is at. If you know it, like the lay of Atlanta. I just couldn't find a Walgreens or a CVS anywhere near. So we had an Uber up there. My Uber driver picked me up. He had a face tattoo. He had a wife beater on, and he was doing like the Invisible Man driving stance, like where you're way back in the back seat. He was driving like that, but that was my Uber driver, and I was like, okay. So, and he's just picking me up to go get like some Lysol and stuff like that. So it was just a weird trip, man. But I was happy to get up out of there. I'm never going back to Atlanta ever again. So that's why, and so to wrap it all up, that's why it was Uncle Ruckus weekend, because I was very upset. No offense to any black people. It was actually a pretty cool city, man. There was a big basketball tournament there. A lot of kids, man, from all over the country. Girls basketball tournament. So, man, I saw a bunch of tall girls, some girls that could probably dunk on ish, to be honest with you. But, yeah, man, it was cool, man. Just way too many people. And yeah, I'm never going back to Atlanta, man. I'm done with Atlanta. Never again. That was my week. What about you, Ryan?
All right, my week was... I don't know how black it was. I had somebody, but I forgot. Now I'll come back to it. But anyway, I'm going to edit that part out. My week was... it was cool, man. My wife was gone to a bachelorette weekend thing in Chicago with... my stepsister... And so they was up there all weekend. So I was here with the kids. So we had a good time, man. Watched a couple movies, stupid movies, Watched some Peter Rabbit. Watched that Rampage movie with The Rock, which was equally stupid. I might say Peter Rabbit was actually better than The Rock and Rampage. So that was lame. But Saturday, we got a chance to go to the park. Beautiful day outside. It was one of them days where it was kind of overcast, but it was still bright outside, and but everything was just like super cool. There was no sun like beaming on your head or nothing. So I was like, we definitely go into the park, take advantage of this. So normally you'd just be out there suffering while the kids running around, but this time I actually got to chill and relax. And we got up there. It actually wasn't that many people up there like I thought it would be. Because it was like, it looked like it might get ready to rain, but it just never happened. So I got a chance to, while I was watching the kids play, let's rewind. So we're coming into the park, and as we're coming in, I look down at the little pavilion, and I see that somebody's having a barbecue or whatever. And it was cool because I'm just like, oh, okay, somebody having a little get together down there. We'll see what that's about. So the music starts up, and it was they was bumping some Tupac, bumping a little Pac. So I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. By the time we actually got down there, about 2 Tupac songs that played, and then they was playing "To Live and Die in L.A." And I was like, oh, okay, like this dude got a cool little playlist. And we sat down. And I'm like, yeah, they bumping his music pretty loud though, because I can hear this all over from the parking lot. But we get down there, we sit down. Didn't have no problem with it because they was playing the radio cuts, the radio edits. So no issue there. But as I'm sitting there and I look over, and I was posting in the group me too, because I was like, yeah, it's a white dude over here, and he is on his cell phone. Is he calling the cops? And I was just laughing, because I didn't think it was really happening. He didn't have
take a picture.
Yeah, you did say take a picture. I did take a picture, but nothing was happening. So I didn't have no reason to send it to y'all. He didn't have the bottom arm crossed. So if he didn't have the bottom arm crossed, I didn't think he was serious. You got to have that one arm across your chest, and that's where you're in the threatened position. He only had the phone up, so I figured that he was just like calling somebody to see like where they were.
His hand wasn't trembling violently while he was doing it.
It wasn't. He looked pretty calm. None of the black people were really paying any attention to him, so I'm like, yeah, he's cool. He looked like he's just there. I don't know why he would have been there, because he was just, he looked like the bald-headed white dude from Better Call Saul.
Okay, got you.
He looked like that dude, yeah. So I was like, he don't really match with them, but he looked like he's non-threatening to the black people right now. So kept going, and the playlist slowly changed, and this is where I have my issue.
Uh-oh.
When there's a thin line between black and being ghetto. Let's say it. Thin line between black and being ghetto. So, when you're in the park.
And that thin line is Devin the Dude.
Yeah. Certain stuff you just
Start
can't
playing
play
Devin the Dude.
when you out at the park and the kids are right across the way, within 20 yards of where you're playing said music. And they started playing the regular versions then. And again, I'm not going to lie. The playlist was on fire. I like the playlist. I Shazammed a couple hits while I was sitting there. Because I'm like, I ain't never heard this song right here. Let me see what this is. But you don't want the song really like, yeah, I'm a platinum nigga. And you're like, oh. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't really play this one in the park. There was a lot of cussing on there. And I was just like, yeah. This one's borderline. I was looking around, it was a couple white people. They was kind of, just watching their kids look cool. Yeah. So, what?
Can I piggyback off this? When I was in Atlanta, there was like those little like the vendors be selling shirts, just random stuff that says ATL or whatever, just like little tie-dye shirts, but it was a big stand out there. It was there was like a Ferris wheel in downtown Atlanta. Oh man, they were bumping so loud. They were bumping like when I walked past the first time. They were bumping. I just remember they were bumping Fat Joe, Lean Back. It was so loud. And I told you there was like a big like basketball tournament. So it was all these like Midwestern white girls and their families just walking around going to. The Phillips Arena is like right over there where the Hawks play or whatever like that. So I think that's where a lot of the stuff was at. Maybe at Georgia State too. But all these families just walking back and just bumping so loud, this lean back and lean back, and some people were feeling it, and some people were just like, "What is going on out here?" It's just
So
it's just weird, man. It's just weird in a public space to be playing really loud music that it's just
exactly
not everybody's vibe, and full curse words, just full curse words. Even though that song doesn't have that many curse words compared to others, but it's just different, man.
Right, and whatever he was playing, like there was a lot of cursing because I felt a certain type of way because I'm just like, at this point I'm feeling like all the white people are looking at me like, you need to go get your people. Like Black Delegation, are you gonna tell them to turn this music off? And I was just like, all right, well the kids ain't paying attention to it. Hopefully they don't start saying no cuss words when we get home because we don't listen to that.
So it sounded like you had Uncle Ruckus weekend too then, man.
Nah, not really. Follow me. So then we sitting there probably another 15 minutes. The playlist started to change and it started to go more jazzy because I noticed the old people start showing up. So the music started changing, right? And then they just doing instrumentals at this point, a couple of, Charlie Brown or whatever. And it was cool. And then I look over and here comes the police riding over to the picnic. And I'm just like, man, who called the police? And of course, somebody did say that. Like, who called the police on that?
And what was the white dude doing then? Was he still over there, or had
white dude was still over there? At this point, I saw it was another white lady over there too.
Yeah, you can't leave. You can't leave, and then they assume it's you anyway. So you just gotta stay and make it look like, hey, it wasn't me.
Right. But he was intermingling with everybody, so I think he was with them. So I never was worried about that. And the cops rolled up, man, drove through the grass and all that, and pulled up next to him. He got out, and I got my camera out. And I'm like, I'm waiting. Mode. Yeah, I was getting ready. I was zooming in, making sure my lighting was good. Like, should I come from this angle here? I took that little picture that I put up for y'all so y'all can see that the police had arrived. And I'm just like, man, please don't let this go sideways while I'm watching because I don't want to be scarred for life. Because I'll be over there trying to save people and stuff. We ain't finna be doing that.
Trying to save people.
Man, you never know. I might try. So, dude had a word back and forth. The matriarch of the family came over and talked to him. He seemed like he was kind of saying, like the way he was shaking his head, like, I don't really want to be here this stupid, but somebody called. And I was like, good, because I have, to this day, never had a problem with the Florissant Police Department. So shout out to the Flopo. They always been good to me. I've been dead to right speeding 53 and a 40 and didn't pull me over. This has happened multiple times. They always been cool to me, so I ain't got no issue with them. So another time where they kind of let things go and just told them to keep the music down, I guess, and then they rolled off. So crisis averted. So that was my week though.
Crisis averted.
Yep. So.
All right.
That week in blackness lasted a really long time.
We ready to get into these white collar crimes?
Yeah, we got to get into these white collar crimes. We don't have no choice. We are gonna run through them, though, people. I know some of y'all just like to hear all the white collar crimes. I don't necessarily like doing it every week, but we got to because they keep coming up.
Keep coming. When we first started white collar crimes, it was with the idea that this will go for a little while. We may be able to get one a week and do this for a while. But we went from one a week to now we got 4 or 5 every week, and we leaving some on the table. So it's crazy. So we're not really gonna go into discussion, but let's go ahead. Opening businesses while black. Ryan, what is this one about?
Here we go. All right. 911. There's a black man over here in this business. He isn't supposed to be there. White people call the cops on a black business owner just because he was black opening his own business. Nothing to it, just opening his business.
What kind of business was it?
What did this man sell? He sold some juice or something, didn't he? What was it?
Crunk juice. You might have to call the police. If it's crunk juice, you might need to call the police on this guy. I'm sorry.
Man, issue ain't putting no link on here, man. I can't pull it up.
Oh, I didn't know I put that on there. I thought you put it on there.
If I did, then I didn't put the link on there. But there's no link on there, so I don't know. Okay. But that's all right.
Moving on to the second one. Another business-related white collar crime. What is that one, Ryan?
Right. Police, there's a black woman here. I just overheard her saying that she's going to sell her food stamps. White lady calls the police on the young lady standing in the line saying that she was going to, allegedly, saying she was going to sell her food stamps. This is none of your business.
Right. And she pulled up that, I care because I'm a taxpayer, and calling the cops on folks selling food stamps, really, you got nothing better to do with your time. So, all right, that's the other one. Are we splitting the white collar crimes, or
no?
Did you just leave them like that?
No, I'm messing with them as we're talking. So something I did want to address with this white collar crime is I don't know if we have any white listeners. Maybe we do.
Sure,
I don't know what our demographics are as far as annual salaries and all that kind of stuff. But I want to inform some of you well-to-do people that food stamps are not a free pass. When you get food stamps, you probably can't get nothing else. If you get unemployment, you can't get food stamps. I myself have been unemployed for some time, and I have tried to get both. And they told me my unemployment check was too much to get a food stamp. So if I got food stamps, I couldn't get unemployment. If I got unemployment, couldn't get food stamps. So let's set the record straight, because I think people think that there's some kind of a free meal ticket out here that only black people are getting. That is not the case. One or the other. You can't get both.
Oh, yeah. And I think statistically it's something like 67% of welfare and or food stamps are collected by white people. But that's just not the image that gets put out there. People think that, welfare is just for black people and, lazy black folks. But in reality, because white people are the vast majority of this country, they get the vast majority of those type of benefits, which it is what it is. It's not putting them down for it, but just calling out the misconceptions for that.
Exactly.
Yep.
So what is the next white collar crime?
Next white collar crime is... Hello, police. There's a 78-year-old woman in here. She's in the bank. She wants to withdraw money. I don't understand this one. I don't know why you would call the cops on a 78-year-old woman who's trying to cash a check.
Yep. And the lady had her driver's license. She had her passport. They said she had to wait like 30 minutes while the teller went to get a manager to see, because they thought she was up to something devious. They thought it might have been check fraud. And you know how much the check was that the black lady was trying to cash?
How much was it?
$140.
Oh my
Not
God.
$140,000, not $1,040. $140, and they took up all this time. They called the police, they called the manager, they did all this and that because they didn't think that this black lady was who she had 2 IDs that said that she was. Next white collar crime, right?
hello, hi. I'm a rich white person. I live in a very nice neighborhood. There is a large black man at Ving Rhames' house. I don't know who he is. Could you send someone over? This situation is Ving while black. Ving Rhames at his own house. Used the key to get in. Sitting down watching SportsCenter, he says. Cops knock on his door, and apparently his neighbor reported a large black man in the neighborhood when she knew one lived across the street from her.
And not only did the cops knock on his door, he said when he opened the door, he had the red beam on his forehead. He said they had a 9mm with the red dot pointed at his head. So they weren't even knocking or waiting to see what was going on. They just heard black man in this. I'm sure it's a well-to-do neighborhood. And so they brought all the guns out. Brought the SWAT team probably, and they were just ready to shoot somebody. So the interesting thing about this one is that he said he went with the cops to the lady's house because, of course, the cops recognized him as soon as he opened the door and they got the guns pointed at him. They're like, oh, dang, it's Ving Rhames. So they said, oh, you know.
Probably not what they said. They was like, that's a big nigga. And then they said, "Oh, that's Ving Rhames."
When they put the red dot on, was he naked and making grits like he was in Baby Boy, and he was turning around? I guarantee
he was naked with a tray of Kool-Aid, and he was like, "Y'all want some of this Kool-Aid?"
Right.
Yeah. Hey, but real talk,
that's how Ving Rhames rolled at the crib.
Ving, he's known for some very intimidating roles, man. Other than the cross-dressing role, the movie that I sent y'all, y'all didn't think that was real. That's real. He was in a cross-dressing movie. I never actually watched that movie. But
was he in the one with Wesley Snipes?
No, it was like a TV movie or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, man. But dude's got range, man. I mean, look, I haven't seen Ving Rhames in a minute. I know he's in the new Mission Impossible, which I want to go see. My wife wants to go see it too. But man, I did not know he's the voice of the Arby's commercial. The We Have the Meats, dude. Yeah. That's him.
How did you not know that?
I just never. I was wondering what that voice was, but I never knew like who it was. And I'm like, well, no wonder I haven't seen him in a movie in like 20 years because he's been doing nothing but Arby's commercials. He's probably making just bread off that. He don't need to make no movies except for Mission Impossible.
He's making no money off them Arby's commercials. They pay him in curly fries, bro.
He's making hella money off that.
He told him, bring me one of those Pharrell hats full of money.
Look, man, commercial. So, but now I think back to all those little silly Arby's commercials, like the hero commercial. Like I'm thinking that's him. So
right.
It kind of contrasts with some of the roles he's played.
The meats.
But Ving Rhames, dope actor, man. I hate that this happened to him, but man, how do you not like at least recognize your neighbors? Kind of know what they look like a little bit. I mean, it's just nuts, man. Nuts.
That's what the neighborhood tried to do is organize like some little neighborhood play dates where come out and meet your neighbor. But the reality is they saw a big black man. They like he don't belong here, and they called the police. So we don't need to get to know your neighbors. You need to just stop being racist. How about that?
Right. So speaking of big black dudes, let's talk about LeBron James.
LeBron James
back in the news. Ishmael, what has he been up to since he's moved to LA?
Well, I think you know everything he's been up to in LA.
I do. Notifications every hour on the hour.
Now, we talked about earlier how the Black Ryan is one of the biggest LeBron James haters in the world, and now he's a little conflicted because LeBron is now a Los Angeles Laker. But a very impressive thing that LeBron James has done, and I'm not really going to go into it for a long time, but just felt like this needs to be noted. So LeBron James opened a school in Akron called I Promise School. I believe it's like a charter school because it is a public school. There is no tuition for the students, and this is a predominantly black area. And actually I believe that the school is for underperforming kids. So this isn't a school for the high achieving kids. They already get a lot of services. They get a lot of care. This is for the people who aren't performing as well as they can to try to inspire them and uplift them and get them graduated. So it's free tuition for the kids. It's free uniforms for the kids. Yep. Each kid gets a free bicycle and a helmet. They get free transportation within 2 miles of the school. They get free breakfast, lunch, and snacks throughout the day. They got a food pantry for the families. Again, a lot of these families are underprivileged. Ryan, like you talked about before, some people on welfare, some people on unemployment. These are the kids and the families they're targeting. So they have a food pantries to make sure that they can eat at home. They're not just eating at school.
Yeah. This way they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
Right. They have GEDs and job placement services for parents. So if the parents are trying to get their education game up, he's helping and providing a way for that. And the biggest and best, there's guaranteed tuition to the University of Akron for every student who graduates. Now, whether you love or hate LeBron James on the basketball court, this man is doing big things for the community. He's big in social justice. He's big in giving back in terms of scholarships and education. So I just want to salute LeBron James for his I Promise School, because that's really one of the most impactful things that I think you'll see an athlete do.
Definitely. I'm proud to have him as a Laker. Simply for this fact is that dude has always been down for the community since day one. I've always heard of him giving scholarship money to kids, and doing this is just another notch in the belt for him, man. He's always been that dude, and he's never forgot where he's from, and he always rep. He could have went to L.A. and opened a school in L.A., but that ain't him. He gonna do it in his hometown, and that's cool.
Yeah, they need to make a statue for that man out there. If there ain't a statue out there in Akron form already, they need to make a statue. I still hope that they go 20 and 62 this year, but but no, shouts to LeBron is great what he's doing for those kids, man.
Yep, and you remember when he did his thing when he left for Miami, the decision, even though he got a lot of flack for that, he raised a lot of money for like boys and girls clubs when he did that. So he's been giving back since the beginning, man. So big props to LeBron. Like I said, a lot of people were talking about this, but I felt like we had to acknowledge it on the show and had to give him that salute.
Yes, sir. All right, so
yep.
Yes, all right. Here we go. So this topic here, white delegation, y'all nasty. Y'all just nasty. That's the only way to say it. It's the only way to describe it. I was flipping through Facebook, finally found an article on this on WorldStar, where a Fox 11 news anchors, they were trying out a doggy ice cream. They had a small little white poodle there who had probably never his feet had never touched the ground before. It was so coddled. And they had it trying this little bowl of ice cream. The dog is licking it up straight out of the container. No spoon, no nothing. And my man to the right of the dog, he dips his spoon in, takes a spoonful and eats it. And I'm just like, oh, like that's nasty. Like the dog was just lapping in that. That's gross. Then my man takes his spoon that he just ate off of, that the dog just ate out of, passes it to the next lady. And the next lady, I had a small pause. My heart skipped a beat because when he showed her the spoonful of ice cream, she said, "Oh, you want me to eat that?" And I thought she was going to be like, "Oh, hell no." But she didn't. Opened her mouth and she ate it too.
I could say something very joke here, but I'm going to stop now.
Then the woman eats the ice cream. Then he puts the spoon back into the ice cream again, passes it to the next lady on the panel. He gives her the ice cream from the spoon that the other lady just ate off of, he just ate off of, and the dog just ate out of.
Somebody.
Then my man
like
takes he does the.
Oh, it's the rain here. Got rainstorms coming through.
Oh, you got a hailstorm going on. That's all right. I'll just silence your feet. It's cool. So the final portion of it, which wraps it all up to be the nastiest thing ever, my man takes the spoon and he takes the final spoonful after everybody, including the dog, has had seconds. That is nasty, white delegation. I don't know if we have any white listeners, but I need a white listener to write in and explain yourselves on this one.
Did you forget
y'all get a chance
that we got listeners in Sweden? And
they could be black though, bro.
We'll play percentages and say no on that one.
Right.
It could be black. You never know.
So, Paul, what say you?
I'm okay with this. I'm fine.
Oh no, you're not. No, you're not.
just to troll y'all, I'm okay with it, man. I guess like I broke down the video The dog was licking out the front part of the container, and then the dude like scooped out the back part to give it to the girl. But it was funny because the girl's face, she was definitely freaked out for a second. So
she looked like she wasn't down, but she sure took it.
She was a trooper. Yeah, there's definitely a couple of dirty jokes we could insert here, but we're gonna leave those alone.
Please don't. I don't want to.
It's a family pod, but
thank you.
But no, man, I can't say too much because look, man, my mom is a big animal lover. My mom literally has her cats in her will. I've seen it, dog. Like whichever one of her children, me or my sister, takes her cats on after she dies, they basically gets an extra 10%. And so my wife does not like pets, so there is no chance I'm getting that. So at minimum, at maximum, I'm getting 40% of the estate at maximum. So that's just how that goes, man. It's just some people are animal lovers and don't see nothing wrong with it. Definitely not something my wife would allow in this house. So yeah, that's how it goes, man. What about you, Ish?
Yeah, for me, well, number one, I feel like even though this is pegged as a white people issue, I don't think it really is. I think a lot of black or brown dog lovers do the same thing. If you love dogs, people let their dogs kiss them in the mouth. People do whatever. So I feel like it's a dog lover's issue more so. It's always pegged as, this is what white people do. But I've seen black people do the same thing.
You never had a dog kiss you in the mouth, Ryan?
Man, heck no. We don't even have dogs in our house, dude. The dogs didn't come in the house. The dogs stay outside because they dogs. That's it.
Chained to the tree.
Right. Let's call PETA. Let's get PETA involved to go over to Black Ryan's house right now.
Nope. Never had a dog in the house.
For me, it's one of those things where live and let live. Like, that's not something that I would do. I'm not a dog lover. I'm not kissing dogs in the mouth. But if that's what you want to do, go for it. That's just not really my place to be upset or offended. I'm not a germaphobe, and they say that a dog's mouth is cleaner than whatever, a human's mouth or whatever else. So, whatever. Did any of those people die?
How you know, Ryan? How you know?
They probably did.
I don't think so. If none of those people died, I don't care.
You know the reason why a dog's mouth is cleaner than a person's? Because we eat after dogs. That's why. Because we eating after the dogs. The dogs ain't eating after us. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The Black Delegation got soft. This might be the last episode. I'm done with y'all. Both of y'all out here white-splaining these white people on this TV show, on this news show, eating after their dogs and eating after each other, which is even just as nasty as a dog. I'm appalled.
It's kind of nasty, but I got to give props to the girl because I think she was truly shocked by the guy giving her a spoonful, and she played it off like a professional, and she took it, and so I got to give her props for that.
I know one thing: she can't tell her husband that she ain't doing stuff. Whatever he say, you can't say no. I'm definitely got to edit that out, but go ahead.
Leave that one in, please. Right. This is the real Ryan.
He only edits himself. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
If anybody makes a request, I will edit you out.
No, you do not.
His comments and cuss words. That's all he edits. Because Paul, pretty much every episode, I think this is the first episode that Paul has been on where he did not say, "Oh, just take that out," and Ryan be like, "No, I'm leaving it in."
No, but he be saying take stuff out because he think he's talking too much. I leave that in there. I'm not wasting my time with that.
Again, now Ryan is white-splaining himself.
No.
Silly,
I take out, if y'all cuss, I take it out. I have never cussed on the podcast, so I don't have to take it out.
Let's leave this to the listeners. How about that? So, listeners, do you let your dog lick you either on your arm, on your mouth? Do you let your dog eat after you? We want to know because, again, this is something that's often attributed to white people, but I've seen black people do it. So, I want to know if the Black Delegates listeners, are you kissing your dogs in the mouth? Hit us up on Instagram or hit us up on Twitter or the Facebook and let us know.
Poll.
Twitter poll.
Yeah, we can do a poll.
Let's do a poll. That way we can get everybody's. I need some people to email in and explain me why this ain't nasty. And if we got any white listeners, I need y'all to just email us just to let us know what's going on. Hit us up in the DM, something. Direct message me. Just say, hey, I'm white. I listen to the podcast. I just want to know who's out there. But, y'all nasty. That's all I got to
say. To Mrs. Black Ryan, I want you to hear that your husband just asked white listeners to enter his DMs. So take what you will out of that. Sound a little shady to me.
I'm going to greet that with silence, sir. All right. So we made it. It's our normal cutoff time, just over an hour. So, Ishmael, where can they find us?
Yep, and we're going to try to get out of here quickly. We're not going to linger as much. So you can find the Black Delegates Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Black Delegates. There's an underscore between Black and Delegates. You can follow Ryan on Twitter at the Black Ryan. You can follow me on Twitter or on the gram at IshCreates. Paul, if people want to help out the podcast, if they want to boost us up, what can they do?
Well, first of all, I'm also now on Twitter, Boxwine Poppy at Twitter. So follow me there if you want to hear some really rambling thoughts and some IG booty likes. If you want to see any of those, go ahead and click my
all right,
Twitter.
Check out Paul's likes after dark only.
Yeah, after dark. But no, man, if you want to support the show, tell a friend, and then subscribe and rate us 5 stars on iTunes or whatever your app of choice is for listening to this pod.
So, Ryan, do you have any BDP certified black businesses or podcasts?
BDP certified. I am going to, well, how about, yes, I do. I'm going to shout out a podcast that I have come across called Black on Black Cinema. Black on Black Cinema. Yes, they are black dudes that do movie reviews. And so I'm down for that. They seem real cool. I listened to an episode. They didn't even actually talk about a movie, but they kind of did what we do on our show. And they just talked about different things that was happening in the black community. It just happened to be that way. I don't think that was their normal show, but I enjoyed it that much that I'm going to listen to them break down Acrimony by Tyler Perry. Can't wait for that one because that should be pretty funny.
All right.
So, I will shout them out.
When you first said it, I thought it sounded like Paul's internet search history. At first, I was a little concerned.
All right. Yep, this one's clean. Don't worry.
All right. Well, that is a wrap. We appreciate y'all. Sorry for the little bit of a delay that we had this week, but we will be back at you next week at the same time on the Black Delegates Podcast. Ryan, go ahead and take us home, man.
I got nothing. Stay black.
Peace.
Peace.